Hello again, friends and fellow truth seekers. Mike Nicholas here with another episode of the Soul Unleashed podcast. This is a shorty episode for a Tuesday. And today I just want to talk about the orbs again. There was a time I mentioned earlier in my podcast where the orbs stopped. And for those of you who've been listening to me for a little while anyway, you know that I started seeing these orbs back in May of 2023. So the third year anniversary came and passed not too long ago. The night of May 17, 18 is when I first saw them. And basically they are these glowing, blinking, luminescent things that appear in my home. And over the years they've appeared a lot of different places. I travel and they go with me. I'm about to go to Lebanon for a trip. I'm very excited about doing that. And I'm bringing one of the cameras with me. They're little Blink security cameras. They're about the size of, you can't say a cigarette pack anymore because nobody knows what a cigarette pack is. But, they're pretty small, pretty small. And they plug in really easily and you can hook them up to your phone. And so when I travel, usually, even when I'm on my motorcycle, I bring a small camera with me and they're there. And I've joked about this before, but orbs have no ego. You know, they show up when I ask them to, whether I'm in a Holiday Inn or a Marriott Resort or a Motel 6, they're there. They also showed up in my wife's her hospital room. And when she had a private room there, she doesn't have one anymore, but when she had a private room there for a little while, we were able to turn the lights out at night and see them. So that was kind of cool. But what happened, my experience here at the house was that they stopped appearing. And I was concerned about that because I looked forward to seeing them. And after my wife, hurt herself and was hospitalized last August, they just stopped. And I thought, well, maybe they're attached to her somehow, not me, which would be, that would make a lot of sense. But anyway, they just were not in the house anymore and they traveled with me, but they weren't here. Anyway, they started again recently. And I recently had a session with a medium, and she was more than a medium. She did some other things, but in talking to her, I asked her what she thought the orbs were. Now, many of you also know that in my quest to figure this out, who knows what the heck they are, I've been to see Catholic priests. I've been to Catholic University. I've talked to a couple of priests from Georgetown University. I mean, I was raised Catholic, right? I still consider myself Catholic, and I don't know what they are. And so my first thought was to go and talk to a couple of priests and ask them. Well, they don't know. That's the short answer. They don't know either. In fact, the Georgetown priest, very kind of them, offered me an exorcist, which I didn't take them up on. So this medium lady I was speaking with said that she thought, well, maybe they're sprites or nymphs, or she said these little things, these little people, they like to be around and they're very excitable and that's how they show they're around. Well, I don't agree with her. I don't think that's what they are. I'm convinced that they're related somehow to our son because they started when we had a very difficult day missing him, and they started where he would normally sit at our table in the dining room. And I think there's a much bigger message for me seeing these orbs instead of just being something that, is to amuse me or amuse us silly earthlings or silly humans. So I believe that they are representative of some form of consciousness. And the cool thing is they're all different sizes. They're all different speeds. They're all different intensities. Some are highly bright and some are very dim, and they move very gracefully, and they're almost translucent. They look very old, if you will. Others look young and excitable. So I think they represent really the spirits or the consciousness of whatever soul that they represent. That's what I really think they are. I've told this story before, and I'll just repeat it real quick because it does kind of explain or as an example of how the orbs behave differently. I had our grandchildren were visiting us. This was about almost over a year ago. And one of the cameras I had set up in one of the bedrooms upstairs, which is where we were seeing the orbs at the time. And the camera was there, and they saw the camera. And of course, they wanted to be on it, and they wanted to act, and then they wanted to come downstairs and me to show them what it was they were doing. And so I said, sure, go ahead. And they ran upstairs, and they were upstairs jumping up and down the bed and making faces and falling off the bed and acting silly. And then they came running back downstairs to see it. At this point, they were about, 7 and 9 years old. Came back downstairs, and I showed them the video. And of course, they were happy to see themselves, and they want to do it again. But what I also saw, which was very interesting to me, they didn't really catch it, was there were orbs that were appearing around them. And as they jumped around, the orbs were very excitable. Normally the orbs, some are fast, some are slow, but normally they move with some type of purpose, like from left to right across the screen, or up and down, or But these orbs with the children were acting like children. They were doing circles, and they were jumping up and down, and they were going back and forth, and they looked to be excited by the children. And so I thought that was really interesting. I don't know what it means, but I just noticed that they are different with children. So one thing, I'm going to close this here for today because I want to keep this short, but I did put up a video. If you go to my webpage, I'll put the links in the show notes. But my webpage, MikeNicholas.com, has a link to my YouTube site. If you go to YouTube and also on Facebook, I put up a couple of videos from just the other night. Actually, it was last night. And there's something that's called a bouncing orb, or I call it a bouncing orb. But I was asking them to appear and be with me since they started to appear again. And sometimes they hit my hand. I'll put another video up in a day or two of kind of a high five they gave me. And I put my hand up last night initially to get a high five, and I just missed them. Like they were right where my hand was. But then this orb comes bouncing. It bounced twice and kind of landed someplace in my body. I don't know where it goes to, but it kind of into my chest. But it bounced twice. And so I have that little video up as a short on my YouTube channel. And it's just at Mike Nicholas -Unleashed is my YouTube. I'll put the link in the thing here. And also my Facebook page. There's also the video there. So thank you again for listening. Look forward to doing maybe a slightly longer podcast on Thursday, of course. But I did just want to share this about the orbs because to me they are a definite indicator that there's something going on that we don't understand. And I think that's hopefully why you listen to this podcast, is you're trying to figure out what's going on also, just like I am. But the orbs for me are proof positive that there's something that we don't understand that's happening. Thank you. Talk to you again soon. Bye.